school leadership teams. How's everybody doing? Megan, yes, Megan's with me. All right, I see you.
We're standing, Yolanda, we're standing.
You're standing. Guess what? It's Friday after your first week with students and your teachers being together, and that is for sure something to celebrate. Hello, Lacey. Yeah, you guys go ahead and do that roll call right there in the chat. Let me know who is here. If you have any friends, colleagues that are texting you and they're a little stressed about not being able to be here in our new context, because maybe they're doing a PD or something like that, please let them know it is okay. Logistics meeting is the last thing that we are going to be stressed about, right? It is recorded. You can go back and watch it. Lots of ways to get to it, and I'll tell you about that in just a moment. Hello, Jojo, Lori. Oh, Lori's here. Yay. Kathy Lang's in the house. All right. Vassar's here. Great. Christy Sable's representing today. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So, all right, guys, you probably noticed we have a little bit of a tight schedule today and want to make sure that we just kind of give some groundwork before we get going around. Really just want to hear from you all first and foremost, and then we will dive right in here. Okay, so for those of you who haven't met me yet, because I know we have a lot of new people on our school leadership teams this year, I'm Yolanda Greer. I am Director of Leadership Development on the school performance team with the Division of Equity and Learning. So that is where I tie in, and I have a lot of other AKA titles as well, and one of them being coordinator and facilitator of these logistics meetings. So glad to be able to bring together the chiefs and the directors in the district to make sure that you all get pertinent information that you need that is timely, but also just to support around all the written communications. And my goodness, there have been a lot this summer, right? So I'm just wanting to make sure that you know that. So really quick, and just to get more people. Oh, thanks, Sulin. I love it. Y'all know my hair changes every other day, but we've actually been consistent here with this one. So here we go. All right, so we got to pause to celebrate. And first and foremost, always, I celebrate you all. If you can see that picture behind me, it says celebrate what you want to see more of. And I certainly want to see more smiles on your faces. So I get to celebrate you, that you have made it through this first week of the school year. I applaud you. In some of my meetings yesterday, I got to do some standing ovations with some of the school leaders. Rich is smiling, so I definitely have to celebrate that. I get to see him. So that's always a joy. But anyway, I wanted just to really call out and name that, you know, earlier Rico let us know, right? But it was really in May that those teams, recovery planning teams, were pulled together. And this picture right here represents the charge, right? That we were going to be prepared no matter which road we encountered, we were going to be prepared to ensure high quality teaching and learning for our students. And I'm celebrating you guys because just over 3 weeks ago, we got that plan, right? We stepped up right there to number one. And we now have a clear plan until Q2. And so then we'll see which road we're going to jump on at Q2. But for now, the fact that you all made it there and that you know where you're going for this first quarter is definitely something just to pause and take note of with all of you. So we have that. And then I know that even though that's a big celebration, it's been a rough week. It's been a rough couple of weeks with all the communications and trying to pull it all together, make it make sense in your context, in your building. But you guys have done that. And so you may be looking a little like this. I don't know. I'm looking at your pictures. I don't know. Tina, how you look? Oh no, Tina's tight and right today. I see her clothes are on point. Jojo, let me see. You got, okay, Jojo's good. All right. Garrett, okay, no, Garrett's good today. Got the button up. All right. Patty's still smiling, so we're okay. Let me see how we looking today. Brian's like, maybe, you know, but he doesn't really have to deal with this part. But let me see. Let me have a profile, Brian. Are you straight today? Okay, yeah, you're trimmed up. All right. Jamila's good. All right. Moran, you over there? All right, I see you. You're tight and right. Tavy's in the house. Yay, one of our new leaders. Awesome. No, you guys look good. So you're standing strong. Aaron, you're looking good. Chris, I see you. All right, Rebecca, everybody's looking good today. So you're standing strong. I love it. I didn't expect anything else. But if you weren't, it's okay. And we're going to have those moments. And it's okay to sometimes just show up in your authentic self, but continue to carry forward for your staff members there. So again, reminder, it's Friday, so hopefully you're feeling a little bit of some exhale coming about. And in that moment right there, go ahead and do an exhale for me. Just let it out. Rand, I'm watching you. I need an exhale. Don't blow at me, just exhale. Okay, all right. Annalie, show Rand how to inhale and exhale, please. She needs a little scaffolding on that right there. I love y'all so much. So what I do want to know though, how you guys doing really, right? So if you feel comfortable, go ahead and jot, right, Becky? We love Carlton and the Carlton dance. Go ahead and chat there for me. How are you feeling? For reals as a school leader, and yes, I said for reals. How are you doing as a school leader? And as you are noticing some of those comments, make sure that we are reaching out across to one another and checking in. And if you're doing great, maybe you reach out to that person who's just feeling great and feeling like that all in all, they have it together, because they can certainly help to fill your cup as well. Nelson is just loving the year. I know, Kim, tired. Yes, ma'am. I got you. Proud of the staff. I'm telling you guys what, the conversations, the one-on-ones that I've been able to engage in this week, and even Jenny was sharing with me just kind of the energy and the trends and talking with you all. What you all are saying about your staffs, it doesn't come as a surprise, right? But in this context, how you have been speaking about your staffs, just stepping up, getting in there, doing the work, maintaining collaboration, really just getting vulnerable in learning these new tech tools and new ways to make things cool, like Aaron's Bitmoji. I love it. It's so important. Breathing through a straw. Okay, Jojo, we're going to have to talk about that one. I need to know about that. Yeah, just that excitement about being around the kids again, trying to remember to eat. Okay, Kim, if you look on my calendar, what you'll see is Nourish and Nature is on my calendar every single day. And so I definitely eat. That is one principal lesson I had to learn my first year as a principal. You got to nourish. And then I'm trying to actually get up and walk. And even if it's just, walking inside of ESC2 over here, or around the building, or in my neighborhood. So it's on the calendar. Probably don't get to do that every single day to do the walk, but definitely eat. So just a little trick for you there, so that you're blocking that time on that part. All right. So, and in case those of you who are just kind of feeling totally spent and poured out, maybe even a little discouraged because, some parent wasn't very gracious or what have you, I would just encourage you to check out that little guide right there, right? This is tough, but you guys are too. We all are, and we can get through this thing. I may not be able to control the situation, but I am in charge of how I feel, right? Every day that is a choice. I haven't figured this out yet, and we will. This challenge is here to teach me something. I don't know about you guys, but the life lessons that I have been learning lately are just nonstop. And I wish there was a pause button, but it's all good. And all I need to do is take it one step at a time. Breathe. Y'all know that's my little theme. Breathe. And just do the next right thing. And even Andre was helping us with that message at the end of the year last year. So just remember, just do the next right thing, and we can just keep it going from there. So like I said, logistics meetings, for those of you who are new to this platform and new to our district, is really just to provide our distinguished colleagues, our chiefs, our directors, an opportunity to come before you to share, like I said, those pertinent informational pieces that you need, and sometimes to highlight certain things from those memos. Again, we're so mindful of the written communications that you all have been receiving, and hopefully that begins to slow down and we kind of narrow that up a little bit for you as we go forward. And it's interesting to me, as I was prepping last night, going back through the slide deck, and I thought, wow, logistics meeting doesn't sound so cool anymore, because right, it was virtual, and now that's just our new way of being, which is a whole new context. But it's okay, we're still going to make it fun. Hey, Brian, what flavor gum is that? Send some over this way, I need some. All right, so gotta mess with you guys, come on. So hey Mario, good to see you today. Awesome. All right, guys, so as you know, you saw the agenda in the calendar invite. Again, just kind of reviewing for those who are new to us. The agenda, most likely, the goal is always to have it in the invite for you the Monday before logistics meeting. Sometimes, shh, the chiefs and directors don't meet the deadline, okay? Don't tell them. But anyway, so as soon as I have all of their agenda items in there, I get that loaded for you so that you can plan and prep accordingly and make sure that you have your leadership teams, the members that need to be present for the Friday meetings. Okay? And then these are always recorded, so you are being recorded right now, so be nice. And you will find these, now that we're using Zoom this year, it will be downloaded into the, or actually, yeah, Sylvia will be placing them in the calendar invite for us as soon as it downloads, and that takes a couple of hours, we've learned. And then it will also go on the playbook, and it will, by Tuesday following, we'll have a time-stamped version for you in the what is it, the YouTube Logistics Meeting channel. So once you get the slide deck, we will have that on the playbook for you too. If you don't already have these pages bookmarked, please go ahead and do that, because like that YouTube channel it's unlisted. So you want to make sure that you add that to your library and that you're able to find these pieces of information. So on that, okay guys, I'm going to try something. I've actually never clicked out of a presentation in Zoom yet. So can you see the playbook right now? Yeah? Oh, thanks, Jamila. Okay. So, so here, again, most of you know this, but for our new folks, you will see our homepage is the CAO's page, Andre. And when you click here, this is where we archive currently the Friday memos that you all get, newsletters that you all get, and then I believe that's switching to Mondays. And so you'll be able to always find the memos here, right, for Andre. What I really want to point out for our assistant principals, any memos that we send out to you all, you have your own little section as well. So if you want to go back and look at the last 2 years, you certainly can, but we definitely have begun to post the memos that you all receive right here. So it's just that quick and easy way you guys can reference back to things and not have to search your inbox. So that's really the purpose of supporting you in that way. You'll also see, so for example, I know that, let me find one that I know is there. Our Chief Personnel Officer, Damon, has sent out some memos. And so when you go to his page and you click on his messages, exact same thing. So every chief has a page like this, and you will be able to find those messages right there, easy for you. While I'm here, before I go back to the slide deck, let me just show you this as well. We also, you all remember from fourth quarter, right? We started this remote learning page where we were giving you those communications around the remote access. We are maintaining that page for you and in getting feedback from the LCDs and from you all, trying to, you know, make communications as tight as possible. And if you have ideas, please send them my way, because it needs to make sense for you all. But what we're doing currently, the LCDs have started that shared communication. So we are now archiving there for you. So if you're like, oh, I know that Carol sent this in the newsletter, but it's probably quicker just to come to this page, click on that, and you'll find those links that you wanted there. And then we have our tight and flexible document right here for you, the supervising and management of your staff during this remote time. And then we've just put those links back to the chief's pages for those memos here for you too. So just trying to make it, you know, as quick and easy access for you all as possible. If you have other ideas, you know, by all means, let us know. We have the running FAQ document where you all have put questions for us and we were responding here from central office. That's right here on the page for you as well. So in case you hadn't seen that, I just wanted you to know that all those things are here for you. And so really, School Leaders Playbook is your best friend, right? So APS site is for all stakeholders of our district. Intranet obviously is just internal purposes, all kind of forms and different things that we just need to know. School Leaders Playbook is really for, yes, thank you, Rebecca. It's your one-stop shop. And Brian, yes, I do like spearmints, so you can put some in interoffice mail for me. All right, guys. Ashley's like, somebody gong her off the show right now. So there we go with all of those communications. So we went through that, so we're good. And again, you can bookmark those pages too, and you will have access to the slide deck here shortly. So with that, I want to go ahead and have on deck, we will have Efren Ortiz and Rich Blagan from our communications office, and they have some great and supportive updates for you guys. So Efren, please take it away. You look good today.
Thank you. All right, let me share my screen here real quick. All right, we're good. Can you see my screen? All right, awesome. So I just wanted to, my name is Efren Ortiz. Again, thanks Yolanda, with the Central Language Services Office within the Communication Department. Just wanted to share some of the things that we offer, some of the services and then resources as well with you all. So services that we offer to school is interpretation services for like back to school events, meet and greets, parent coffees, things like that. We haven't stopped providing those services. We've been doing it virtually through Hangouts, Meet, and Zoom. And again, the schools pay for those services out of their translation interpretation budget. We help coordinate and negotiate rates with agencies on some of the languages that we don't have interpreters for. But some of the other services that we do cover are anything that's ESS related, any IEP meetings, interpreters for that, for evaluations and assessments. So we cover anything that's ESS related out of our office, as well as district events. So any district events where we have interpreters like board meetings, graduations, we provided interpreters for graduations. We had various channels for different languages for families to listen in. So we cover those out of our office as well. Other services that we offer is translation. So short principal letters, or if we're helping with an incident in the communication department at your school, or anything that's related to health and safety, short letters in Spanish, we have an in-house translator. So we could provide those at no cost to schools. But when it's a bigger, larger document, like a handbook or syllabi, things like that, then we work with agencies and negotiate rates. And we get quotes as well as for like other languages. And we'll provide those quotes to you. And then once you approve them, then we'll go ahead with the translation. But we do provide district-wide communication out of our office. So anything that's been going out for like remote learning, online check-in, any of those we have been providing in at least our top 10 languages. And we cover those in our department, excuse me. As well as anything that's ESS related. So like translation of IEPs, we cover those as well. Another service that we provide is training. So we train all of our interpreters, but we also can train schools and a lot of the resources that I'll be showing you here in our next screen. So we have, if you go to our site, language.org, we have a staff resources page, and it'll take you to this. This is just a screenshot of it. I'll let you guys explore this on your own time, and we keep adding things to it. but I do want to highlight 5 resources that we recently added. So the first one is translating websites in Google Docs using machine translation. So put together a help sheet as well as a video tutorial on this. And then I'll show you a quick example here. So if you just go to Google Translate, you could just copy any website link. So I'm just gonna copy this, or a mental health website. They're really cool. They have this plugin, and Rich can talk more about plugins to translate websites as well. But there's some resources we wanna share with families that are not translated. So all we gotta do is just copy that into Google Translate. And we can choose one of 100 languages in Google Translate. I'm gonna choose Burmese, and then click on that link. So that link that gets generated, it translates a website in real time. So anywhere that you go, it's gonna get translated. The cool thing is that machine translation is not perfect. So when you hover over any other text, it's gonna give you the original text. And once families are within this website, any of the links they click on there, it's gonna get translated as well into that language in real time. So what you can do is share this link or do a hyperlink and point it to this link up here. And then it'll have that website translated into any of those languages. And again, you can change the language to any of the 100+ languages that Google offers as well. So a cool discovery that Rich made as well, Rich Blagan, want to give him a shout out on this one. So on Google Docs, he found a way to do this as well. So there is a translate option with Google Docs, but the easiest way to translate a Google Doc is if you just go, once you publish a Google document, go to publish to the web, because all we're looking for is this link. And then again, you treat that as if it was a website. So if you just paste that Google Doc link on there and click on there, then it's gonna translate your Google Doc in there. And there is an option there that, you know, it's kind of like a live document. So if you make any changes to your original Google Doc, it's gonna reflect it on whoever has this link for this like Burmese document, for example. So that's one of the resources we added on there. And it's free, and it's a free way to communicate with your multilingual families. But there's another one that I wanted to highlight is enabling subtitles in YouTube Studio. So again, a help sheet and video tutorial there. But let's say I'm just gonna go to any video on YouTube. So once you're in a video on YouTube, if you click on this CC icon, the closed caption icon, it's gonna be highlighted in red. Right now I have it in Nepali, but if you go to the gear settings, subtitles, it's gonna be automatically generated in English, but you can just translate that into pretty much any of the 100 languages also provided by Google as well. So again, and it does it in real time as well. So just play it. So you just give you an example of how it works. So what I've been doing is to provide some of these videos that are translated, I just do a screen grab or do a recording of this video with the subtitles turned on, and then you guys can share that with your family as well. That way you can have your videos in multiple languages. So another resource that we've been using a lot with remote learning is telephone interpretation. So each school should have an account set up. If you don't have one, please, I urge you to open one as soon as possible. It's really easy and it's free. If you just click on that link that's going to be provided in this presentation, it's going to give you the rates and then 2 of the agencies that we work with. So the first one's CTA's Language Link. It's only 57 cents a minute, and you only get you only pay for what you use. So I have videos here that we put together on how to use the service using our district phones, because I know it can be tricky with those. And then also, like, if you have someone standing next to you or if they call in, how to use that service. And then the other agency we use is Telelanguage. So Telelanguage is a little bit more expensive, but I do suggest opening both accounts. That way, if you can find an interpreter with one agency, then you have a backup, because I mean, it is free to open the accounts. So the way I have my account set up is for them to ask for an employee ID when people call in. You can also do this. That way you can track who is using your account as well. So again, if you don't have an account or you don't know if you have an account, let me know and I could find out for you. I have a spreadsheet of the accounts we have for the district as well. And then I'm gonna skip number 4 and go to number 5. No, I'll come back to number 4. So,
Efren, can I pause you 1 second?
yes,
We just have 2 questions so far, so I just want to make sure we're keeping up with
okay.
where you are. So Sean, sorry, no, it's, oh, here it is. He's going to share it with his team. Will there be a training on this with family liaisons at one of their first meetings?
Yeah, so I'm pretty much a frequent attendee at the family liaison meetings, and I do share these resources with them as well. But yeah, so I do plan on going to the next liaison meeting and presenting these as well.
Okay, thank you. And then Anna Lee is noticing that it doesn't appear to translate the district websites. Is there maybe a little step or trick that we may be missing?
That would be me. It depends on the site they're having, and if they need that, I can help set up the situation to make it work. The thing he was showing was mainly how to take other websites that aren't ours, and if you wanted to present those. But for us, we have different solutions in place for that. And depending on whether you've got different types of sites, I can work with you on that.
Thank you.
Yes, Rich is our master of the web, so he knows all the plugins and stuff that we could use on our websites to be able to do that. Were those the only 2 questions we had for now?
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. So another resource I wanted to show is a parent translation interpretation protocol, and also some language ID cards that we put together. So the Welcome Center has been helping us distribute these, as well as, you know, when we had in-person events like EPAC and other events, we gave them to families. So that they can identify their language. So this is the card that, you know, they put their name in, what their kid's name is, and what language they speak. So when they go to the office, then they could just hand this to the staff members, and then they know to call in a phone interpretation and what language to ask for. So that, and then also a translation protocol, just kind of like, it's a bilingual document where families can point to and say that I need to excuse my kid for this absence, for this day, and due to illness, and then they could just point to it, and that way they could kind of like communicate with the staff as well while they get phone interpretation. So I have those also on our website. I have some of the language ID cards printed in cardstock, and I've been sending some of those to the family liaisons as well. And wanted to go back, so talking points. So a lot of our schools are already using talking points. A lot of our teachers are familiar with them. So what talking points is just a two-way communication, and it auto translates messages. So teachers can just send a text message to families, and they'll get it in their language. They'll send it in English, they'll get it in their language, and the family can respond in their language, and the teacher, it'll be automatically translated back into English. So it's a two-way translation. But the cool thing with talking points is not just machine translation, they also have human translators. So it's more accurate than your typical just machine translation service. This has been free for teachers, but they have to manually put in all their classrooms, languages, and all that. But I'm happy to say that I've been working with Amy, Federal Programs Director, and we helped, we found money to fund this district-wide. So we're in the works with IT, and the talking points seem to get this rolled out soon, because this is really gonna help our teachers and staff members communicate with them. And it's also gonna give principals and school leaders a way for them to see how their teachers are interacting with families, who's actually using it, what messages are being sent out. And it also flags some like messages and things like that. So right now we're, IT is getting all those agreements signed up, but you know, I'll provide more information as we have a rollout date as well. And that's it for me. Not sure if anybody else has any more questions on language services.
Well, you're definitely getting some kudos, Efren, for these amazing tools and resources and making sure that they're district-wide.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, and Rich, for what you're doing there.
Thank you.
All right. My beloved tech friend is on deck, Mr. Rich Blagan.
Hi, everybody. Can you all see my screen?
Mhm.
All right, great. So yeah, my name is Rich Blagan. I'm the district web manager and also kind of a tech support person here and there for people who need it. And so what I want to talk about today were three big things that our communication department can support you with in addition to the language services that Efren was just talking about. And one of them that isn't my field specifically, but I thought I'd mention it here before I jump into the website stuff is, and Patty may address this a little bit later as well. We do offer kind of full school marketing services for your school. So if you're trying to come up with a new, vision for your school and how you want to promote that to your parents, and you want to have maybe a brochure to go along with it and maybe an introductory or a video that kind of brings all those important points up, we can help you with all of those things. And then usually what becomes part of that, and that's what leads into my section here, is assistance with your school website. And then also the other big bucket is we do have access to a mobile app that you can use, that we have access to, you could use for free. And thirdly, you all have access to what's called the Peach Jar Flyer system, which is a great way to get information out to your parents via the Peach Jar Flyer technology. And all three of those things, your school website and the mobile app and the Peach Jar systems, those are all available for you for free. So to begin though, since my main area is with websites, just wanted to let you know that I'm here to help you out with anything related to your school website. And it could be something as straightforward as, oh, Rich, none of the people have come back yet at our school. Can you go in and just update these things for us on our website? I will do emergency maintenance for you in terms of changing content and stuff when you need it. But at a wider level, I'm available to offer training to the people at your school who might be managing the website, tech support if something seems to crash on your website. And then just the bigger thing, and a lot of times most principals like to think about this right near the end of the school year through the summer, but I do offer it throughout the year. And that's if you're thinking of, especially if you're thinking of a new school marketing strategy, is, oh, I'm thinking of reorganizing or redesigning the website, and I'm available to help you with that. We could set up a meeting and kind of go through what you're thinking, and maybe give you examples of what you're wanting it to look like or work like, and then I can work with you to come up with some draft possibilities that we could then implement. And the two big types of ways that we do websites in the school district, I just thought I'd mention this here, is our two platforms for websites are Google Sites and WordPress. We've been switching over pretty rapidly to the Google Sites platform, mainly because it integrates with all the other Google stuff we're doing. And I mean, you can see what some of the pros and cons are of each of these. But that's what Google Sites is really great for. You already have your staff and other people on your team creating all these important documents and maybe a Google Calendar, all this stuff in Google. And Google Sites just makes it really easy to compile all that stuff and then organize it in a very drag and drop way that you could have a website that's really up to date because it ties into all these other Google items you're already updating. So that's what a lot of schools have been switching over to Google Sites. It's also a little bit quicker learning curve because it kind of looks and feels like a lot of the other Google products. So people get up to speed pretty quickly on editing those types of sites. We do offer WordPress, and there's still some schools using that one. Admittedly, it's been around for a lot longer than this Google Sites. So there's a lot wider range of designs and plugins that'll give it new features and so on. That one we do offer as well. And that's one we use for our main public website as an example, but some of the schools use it and most of our department websites, at least the public facing ones do. The two downsides is it is a bit of a learning curve for training in terms of people who might be editing it at your school. And then if you happen to have a lot of turnover of someone who, you end up having a new whole training cycle for the next people, whereas Google Sites people catch on pretty quickly. It is also possible to integrate all the other Google products into WordPress. It's just a lot harder to do, but it is doable. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you're thinking of, I'm ready to do a larger reorganization or redesign of my site, please get in touch with me. I've got my contact information there. I can talk about what your site is currently running on one of these two, and then we can explore your options of the two platforms and then go from there with the reorganization and redesign. Okay. One of the pieces I was just talking about was the school website training. And I do have a website that has training there. Now this, I offer a wide variety of training, although pretty much all of it now is virtual, but I did offer in person where I would come to the school or site and train the person. But I have some already pre-made training materials at webmaster.aurora12.org. Broken into the two big platforms that we use. And for each of these, I've already got some quick tutorial videos that either I've created or I found from other places. This is a great one from Jefferson County. Great cheat sheets and help sheets. And then also a couple of times a month, at least at the beginning for the first quarter, and then as we get near the end of the last quarter, because usually in the middle of the school year, the interest kind of drops off. But I do offer online training. I just had 2 sets of basic and advanced or intermediate classes on Google Sites and WordPress that I offered online using Google Meet. I advertise them in the superintendent's bulletin, so keep your eye out on there for the next one coming out next week for the next classes I have for that. But I record all those videos just like Yolanda does with logistics meetings, and you can access the ones that I've already done. Some of these I've been doing for the last few years, so you can go far pretty back. But some of these old ones might be a little old. They might talk about things that you can do a lot better now. But I may have to trim some of that a little bit. But still, some of the new ones are already here as I've been doing them even just this new school year. So I do offer that online training that's sort of like a group workshop session. And keep your eye out on those in the superintendent's bulletin. And I also offer in-person one-on-one, but now it would kind of be more virtual via Google Meet trainings. So maybe you've got the tech person at your school and they did some of the trainings, but they just need a little bit more one-on-one instruction. We can set up a time for that and I can do that over Google Meet with them. So just get in touch with me if you're interested in that. Okay, any questions on some of the things related to school websites? And just as an aside, since Annalie had brought up the translation question, there's 2 things happening with a lot of our school and district websites. Technically, and this is from Google themselves, technically, when they're using the browser, if the person has set their browser to their default language, so if they are Spanish speaking and they actually know how to go to their browser and they've chosen to say, I just want things Spanish, then when they come to any one of our sites, they do get translated just automatically. However, a lot of parents don't really know that, part. They just have the browser and they go to places. So if you're wanting the more obvious, I want a translate button or a translation widget, because I don't see one right now on my school website, then just get in touch with me and I can go do the little techie work to offer that button or that widget there to make that available for your parents. But some of the parents that work with other languages, they've gotten pretty tech savvy and some of them already have their browser set to say, I want things in Spanish, and then our sites are made to translate just on the fly for them. And they don't have to go try to click back and forth between one English and Spanish. But for those who want to have a more obvious button or drop down or widget, just let me know. And I don't know, Yolanda, has there been any questions yet? Okay, great. The next thing then is we have a mobile app for our school district. And it's a district level mobile app that also can automatically be customized for schools if you want to take advantage of that. And it's completely free, which is great. If you want to have a mobile app capability. to have your parents get to just the most important resources that you want them to get to, and also allows you to send out push notifications through that mobile app. Now, granted, you might be taking advantage of that type of feature in other ways, maybe with the Talking Points app and things like that. But we do have it available as part of the main district app. So you can find Aurora Public Schools in your Google Play Store or iPhone or Apple Store. And when you install it, you get the mobile app, which I have an example of here. But when they install it, the parents can pick which schools that their children go to. So I've got one that goes to Montview, and then I have one that goes to the middle school, and I have another one that goes to Central. So the moment they register for those schools as they're installing the app, then from the main screen here, when they go to click, they can say, I want to see my schools, and it'll have a list of just the schools that they've registered for. And then when they go and click on Montview, for say, then the mobile app changes just to things that are important for Montview. And I would work with your school to say, what are the important things you want there? I want a calendar button, a button to have them see the school supplies, the latest newsletter, things like that. And so they can have you can have an actual custom mobile app. But from the parent perspective, it's great. They don't have to get 5 different apps. They just get the one app. They register the 5 schools that their students go to, and they can move back and forth between those within one mobile app. So if you're interested in getting that set up for your school, let me know. We have a few that have gotten on board with this. Montview, Iowa, or a couple, Dalton, Dartmouth, I think, are a couple others, Dalton for sure. Aurora West is just getting theirs installed. So if you're interested, let me know, and I can start working with you on getting that set up. Lastly, and this we just introduced a couple years ago, but we do have the system called Peach Jar Flyers that every school has access to. What it allows you to do is to create flyers on your own in Word or Publisher, let's say, and you can take those newsletters and you can submit them to your Peach Jar system, and it will automatically do 2 things. That flyer will go out to all of your parents via email, so they can visually see it right away in their email. And at the second time, it automatically shows up on your website. And I've set up, for most school websites, I've set up the Peach Jar area as part of your newsletters, flyers area. And when they go there, they would see that. So just as some visual examples here, just the other day, we uploaded the, for us, we can do it at the district level and blast it out to every school. If you get set up, you can just blast it out to all the parents at your school. But we did the grab and go meal locations here for the first quarter. So we sent that out via Peach Jar. Parents got that as an email, and it showed up on every school website. Here's a Montview, for example, and it showed up there on their Peach Jar page. Now, the way we get this paid for is Peach Jar works with local community organizations in our area who want to be able to share flyers with your parents. And they have to get screened both by Peach Jar and then also by us at the comm department. And so they will submit flyers, which back in the early days, and definitely pre-COVID days, they would try to bring those flyers to your school and say, hey, can you put these up around on the hallways? And we've gotten rid of that and made it all digital. They now can get those flyers submitted and sort of sent to your parents through Peach Jar. So when, for example, on the Montview site there, you'll notice there's a couple things that may have come from us, may have come from your school specifically, but then there may be a couple other items in there that came from local community organizations promoting their thing that is useful to parents and students, not just random advertisements. And like I said, we at the comm department, we will have the final say on those. We get all those sent to us, and we do a final approval before any of those go out. But it's a great way for these community organizations to reach out to your parents, and at the same time offer a way for us for free to be able to get information out to our parents. Now,
Richie,
the only,
you have a question. I'm sorry.
okay, sure, no problem.
Katie would like to know if we're planning to use talking points. Is there a benefit to also having the APS mobile app?
I think it would depend on what you want. Talking points is great for the push notifications. Okay. But in terms of having a a mobile app interface of important resources for your school. And I'm not as much of an expert on talking points. I don't think they have that feature built into it. So you may end up wanting to do a little of both. Maybe have the help me set the mobile app for you, but maybe you won't take advantage of the push notifications there, and you use the talking points app for the notifications.
Yeah, hey, Rich, sorry, just to clarify, the push notifications are with the mobile app. Talking points is more the two-way communication
Right.
between, school staff and families.
That's true. So yeah, you're at the mobile app level, you might be using it to push out things that you want to just get out to all parents as kind of like a blast, which, you could also maybe do a school messenger, but this might be a way to be more immediate and reserve school messenger for really important type things. So you could decide how to use that for your school. Last thing I want to mention about Peach Jar flyers is when you sign up for it and you have access to it for your school, there's a lot of templates already available for you to use there. You don't have to try to make flyers from scratch. And they're in Microsoft Word format, so they're really easy to edit. Ultimately, when you get ready to submit your Peach Jar flyer, you have to save it as a PDF. So however you worked on it in Publisher or Microsoft Word, you got to save it to a PDF, and then you go submit it to Peach Jar, and everything's automated from that point on. It's very, very easy. So most schools have at least their school secretary's been signed up to be the uploader of Peach Jar flyers. But just get in touch with me if you'd like to add somebody else to be someone who can upload flyers from your school. Some schools have really taken advantage to make that the way that they get their newsletters out to their parents, because it gets sent to them as an email and it shows up on their website all at once, and they don't have to go through some of the old traditional ways they may have gotten a newsletter out. One requirement though is your Peach Jar flyers can be no longer than 4 pages long. So if you got a 20-page newsletter, not going to really work there. You want to kind of cut it down to 4 or less. Okay. So that's my little area on websites, mobile app, and Peach Jar flyers. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them now.
Rich, bravo. I love the Bitmoji. Thank you for playing along.
No problem. Made that one up on the fly.
Nice. All right, leaders, are we awake still? Come on, everybody stand up, do a quick little stretch. Stretch it on out. All right, come on. Rich, thank you so much for making sure that we are keeping up with our communications to our families and to Efren as well. So that was really good. So team Patty Moon also jumped in with us today just to see if there were any questions that you have for her. And so now is your time. She is with us. So make sure you, maximize, seize the moment.
Yeah, happy Friday, everybody. I'm just here to answer any questions that you might have. I know everyone's been busy getting the school year started. Love seeing all the pictures. We've gotten quite a few social media photos from parents and staff members about their remote learning setups. We've been sharing those, and it's great to see all the smiling faces around remote learning. I don't see any questions, Yolanda. I think everyone's going to make it easy for me today.
Patty, run while you can. That's awesome. Okay, well, I'm sure, thank you for adding your email right there for us. If any questions come up along the way, I know they'll reach out to you. So thank you for being here. All right.
Kim is asking if there's a way to find out when district communications are being sent out so we don't double up on that day. Yeah, Kim, that's a good point. I think now that we're in the school year, we will do our best to give you guys a heads up if we have a big communication going out. I think ours over the summer were really to keep people notified, right, about what the school year was going to look like, and then keep families just connected I don't anticipate in the near future we're going to be doing a ton more. I think we're using our back to school website, right, that we have right off on our main page as a way to keep families updated, and we're continuously updating that website. But that is something we'll keep in mind if we have something big coming down, that we give you all a heads up so we're not doubling up. I will just say from the district side, we are still trying to support with pushing out check-in communications, right? Making sure families are checking their students in, and then also filling out free and reduced lunch applications. So we're trying to support with that as much as we can. I think that's all. Thank you, Jessica, for the thank you, and Kim, you and I must have psychic abilities wanting to send the same day. So we will be mindful.
Awesome. Okay, Patty, I think we did a good job with our wait time. Thank you so much there. So team, up next we have from our operations, we have Greg Gassell. I see he has already jumped into the meeting. So Greg, welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Yolanda, and everybody. Welcome back to the new school year. I really don't have anything specific to share. I know Anthony's email went out to all of you on, our safety and security protocols, and we put a little additional information in there on some of our the steps that we've taken again to minimize the spread of COVID. One of those big steps, which I know is impacting the schools tremendously, and I think you guys all understand why we did that, was put a moratorium on our volunteers for the school year. Again, as you guys know, we want to try to minimize who's coming and going from the schools. And one way to do that, based on some of the directions from our health partners, was, again, minimizing those coming and going to limit any possible exposure to the building itself. So that's kind of been the big one that I've read a few emails on recently. I know some of you are looking at the ability to bring your volunteers on board in a virtual platform and continue to have that engagement. Again, the specific reason for the background check is, again, making sure that all of our volunteers haven't been convicted of a crime involving inappropriate relationship with a student. So I'm not really the one to kind of approve that virtual volunteer program, but I think there's something to be said if we're not actually having the volunteer student interaction, that might be a safe way to go. I encourage you to kind of reach out to your LCD if that's something that you're interested in. Any questions on that? Again, a few questions that I had offline was about our emergency protocols. Again, we did include with Anthony Sturgis's email the recommendation from the state on our drill protocols. They're still expecting, fire drill per month. One a month is generally the guidance. We do like to do 2 at the beginning of the school year. I know right now we're again kind of in this, uncharted waters. If you have students that are in your building, it behooves you to go ahead and follow those recommendations and continue with those fire drill procedures. I got an email from an office from a school, and there's 5 adults in the office. So clearly there's some leeway there to, make the best decision that for your building that you need to do. But understand that if you're not practicing the drills, it does, kind of leave everybody on the unknown unless that team that you're with of 5 or 7 people have been with you for a while. So regardless, we want to make sure that everybody's prepared for the emergency protocols and understand what their roles are.
Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry, I'm actually I'm a little bit early. It looks like we got started on our part early here. Just to follow up on what Greg stated, we tried to work with the fire marshal, given COVID, to try to reduce the number of drills, and it was a no go from the fire marshal. So really, my suggestion is, whether you have 20 people in your building here this first month or 2 people, you can go ahead and do your fire drills and make those count as toward that what is it, Greg? 10 that the schools have to perform on an annual basis. So I'd still go ahead and do them.
Jen Harrington, did that answer the question? No. Okay. So Anthony, the question is, how do we do a fire drill? Oh, I get it. For the handful in the building, if there's teachers teaching live in their classrooms, causing disruption to the learning in 400 homes.
Yeah, and so my advice on that is not to do the drill then. Like I said, we've had meetings with the fire marshal, and they'll be flexible on that piece. So I think this year, I think in terms of doing 2 in the first couple of weeks, that's more of a like to have than a gotta have. Does that answer your question, Jen?
And then Becky was just also confirming around the PD or the protocol, safety protocol training. Is it, Becky, reading the memos that you all have sent, or will there be a more formal like training?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I'm having trouble with
Yeah, so does reading the memo from you and from Greg, does that count as our safety protocol training per our leader training tracker? So there is a safety protocol requirement on there?
Yeah, so if I understand the question correctly, Greg will still, per our protocols, Greg will still be meeting, virtually with every principal to go over the school specific safety and security protocols. And I think it's even more important this year, particularly when we talk about access control, right? Because it's a little bit different protocols with the access controls we have right now, which is basically the access controls that we've always had. But that's going to change somewhat, when we do go to our hybrid or cohort model, where particularly at the start of each school day, where I would imagine, in order to maximize social distancing, we're going to have multiple access entries, prior to that first bell. So, and not only that, but to go through some of our other safety and security protocols, because while the protocols in and of themselves are all the same, obviously every building is different, and so those meetings are, if they haven't been scheduled yet, they soon will be.
Thank you. And Greg, if you wouldn't mind to connect with Jenny Klein on that, we can make sure that we're meeting the need of what Becky's asking for their tracker, for their LCDs. So we can follow up with you later on that part of it. Okay. And then let's see, another question. So Anthony, it sounds like if we are doing fire drills on Fridays, currently in this remote space, the times when there's not a lot of interference with instruction. Is that okay?
Yes.
Thank you. And when will the new emergency folders be coming out?
Those will be delivered on Monday. We'll start getting those out on Monday. There was a bit of delay on the getting those printed. We outsourced the printing for those. So they are completed. They'll be delivered on Monday, and we'll start getting them out to your school sites immediately following their delivery.
You know, and so really the only other thing, if people have questions, we'll continue to work with principals, particularly at the elementary and P8 levels, with regard to getting your classroom set up. I know in most of our schools we have, we've completed that work in terms of getting the desk or ordering desk and getting your tables arranged in the appropriate manner. Unfortunately, we've got some time on that. And we're actually waiting for our second order of desks. I ordered an additional 500 desks and 250 tables,
Wow.
right? And so we anticipate that order to be in within the next week or so. So that's going to be an ongoing process in terms of our teams working with you all. And I think as far as the signage is concerned, I think we're just about done with that piece. If not, we certainly should be here once again in the next week to 10 days.
Any other questions, team, for Anthony or Greg? Thank you two so much for jumping in today to support us, and just all the support, man, that you all have been doing out of your division since March 13th and even before has been so impressive, and just really appreciate you all for what you're doing. And I know there's been many sleepless nights because I leave this building pretty late and I see you all's cars still here after me. So I see you.
No. Certainly, if there continue to be questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to me directly, or you can certainly reach out to Greg. Just an FYI for the principals, we're in the final stages of putting together a YouTube training video for teachers to use as needed to show them how to wipe down their classrooms. You recall the enhanced cleaning protocols communication I sent out every classroom and the office spaces for that matter will be equipped with cleaning supplies. So we're in the final stages of putting together a a little simple self-help video in terms of appropriately wiping down your classrooms.
All right, Anthony, well, I have something for you. By the time we have our next logistics meeting, I need to see your Bitmoji.
Okay. We'll work on that between now and then.
Okay, we're all learning together with our school leaders. So you too, Greg, you're not off the hook.
You got it.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, so much.
Okay, guys, thank you. Hope everyone had a good start to the week, and we'll be talking to you all soon.
Awesome. Okay. So with that, we get to meet and hear from our new Chief of Technology. So guys, please give it up. And in fact, go ahead and stand up for our new Chief Technology Officer. No, for real, like, get up. Jeff Kanoshi, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Jeff Kanishi, and I just have a couple of things I'll give you. For those of you who haven't met me, I am a former accountant, internal auditor turned programmer in IT. I have my bachelor's in accounting and my master's in computer information systems. And I have worked at several different places, including Douglas County Government, Douglas County Libraries, City of Amarillo and City of Inglewood, as well as some nonprofits. Also worked for Great West Life, which is a large insurance company here in Denver. So that's kind of my background. I've only been here a month and a half, so I will tell you there have been a ton of things that I've been learning, and have met some great people along the way. Hope to meet all of you soon, one of these days. I will jump right into the updates because I've actually, as I'm sitting here listening to everybody else's presentation, I'm sending out emails and answering questions. The big question has been internet connectivity for students, for those who do not have that. So for everyone who does not know, DJ and I have actually been working very hard on an agreement with Comcast, which did get signed. It's all in the works. What this agreement is actually a sponsorship for families who are eligible for what's called their Comcast Internet Essentials program. So if a family is has any sort of public assistance, like if they're on a SNAP program, on Medicaid, on school lunch program, whatever, they are eligible within some of Comcast restrictions to sign up for this Comcast program. Now, we've identified almost 4,000 households, which will equate to around 7,000 students that are eligible for this sponsorship program. So what that is APS will actually pay for their internet connection for the next 12 months. And I know there have been a lot of concerns in terms of, well, you know, what families are eligible, this and that. This list has actually been kind of combed through by Comcast, because their restrictions are they don't want obviously a current Comcast customer that would not be eligible. If they have been a Comcast customer for the past 90 days, that's not, those people are not eligible. And then obviously if the service is not available for that area, they're not eligible. So those were the three big things. There have been others, such as if a family owes money to Comcast. The way Comcast has worded it is they will take that on as a case-by-case basis. So my interpretation of that is if the amount is not substantial or hasn't been outstanding for a long time, then they will probably waive that. But that's more on a case-by-case basis, and that's totally on the Comcast side. We have nothing to do with that. So these addresses will get letters mailed to that address. They will also get emails sent to them. And what will happen is, as soon as they sign up, and there are different forms of identification too that they will accept, because I know that was another thing. If they don't have a credit card, if they don't have social security number, this and that, there are several methods to ID yourself for Comcast. So if they sign up for that, they're provided a code from either that'll be on this letter or it'll be in the email. If they put that code into their application and then they are accepted by Comcast, then APS will actually pay for their internet. So we're hoping that that catches a lot of the students that don't have the connectivity today. And for those who do not, we've had a few reach out already about mobile hotspots. I will tell you, DJ and I, again, have been working with CenturyLink and T-Mobile and Verizon and others to try to work kind of a similar program that Comcast has offered, but unfortunately we haven't been able to work any deals out with any other vendors. So having said that, what we're doing for the hotspots is we do have a limited number currently, and what we're asking schools to do is, if you do know of a student that does not have connectivity or needs that hotspot, if you could send in a help desk ticket with the name, the student name, the student ID, and then your school name, we will set up a hotspot and then we'll deliver it to the school so that you can get that out to the family. So those are kind of the ways that we're hoping to catch everybody with get all students be able to be connected in as soon as possible. So with that, I will open it up to whatever questions you guys have. Yeah, that's so if you can get again, if you can just put in a Debbie, if you could put in a support ticket with that student name, and the reason we're asking for the student name, student ID, all that, basically what we're going to do is we're going to check that hotspot out in Destiny, just like as if it were a Chromebook, so that we can track the device itself with the student. So the question is, do we want to have families try the Comcast before requesting a hotspot? My understanding is that, well, that's a good question. Comcast will be probably a much more stable option, especially so if you have, so each hotspot, they say it will take up to 10 people to log on to. But again, it's going to depend on what you're doing and this and that. So if we can get people on a Comcast unit instead, that's probably going to be the preferred option. It's going to be just a lot easier to be able to have that. But the problem's going to be is all those restrictions, making sure they're in the service area and things like that. So it's going to be kind of what's probably the best fit for each household is what I would say. Other questions? Oh, maybe not. I thought I was going to get a slam by questions. That's good. If you do though, or after the meeting or anything, if you have any thoughts or questions or ideas, or if something popped up in your head after this, by all means, reach out to me. Let me know and I can get back to you as soon as I can.
Jeff, thank you so much for jumping in and for accepting all the invitations and everything I was sending your way as you come on and just working with me as you were getting onboarded yourself. So just appreciate you for making time with the school leaders
Absolutely.
today. So thank you.
Oh, are they aware of tech? Yes, I am actually. So those are the other emails that I'm firing off. And in fact, I'm going to jump onto another meeting right after this. Yes, I am aware of a lot of the tech troubles. And that's going to be my next meeting that I'm jumping onto to try to help solve. Comcast customer. Comcast, what I've found about Comcast, and DJ has been telling me this, that they are holding pretty close to their restrictions. So, and I understand why they're saying that if you're a customer within the past 90 days, they don't want to give you this. And it's because if you already have an internet connection, they don't want to do that kind of return policy where you broke the contract yesterday, now you want this free internet kind of thing. So they are being, I will warn you about that, they are being very strict about at least those 3 restrictions. So if you do have a family where maybe they've lost a job, unfortunately, or something, and you had to cut that Comcast off within the past 90 days, then I would redirect them more to a hotspot option. So. Thank you, Yolanda. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, you too.
All right. Nice, nice. And Viviano, I just have to say, I am a little jelly because you got that natural light right on you outside. I love it. No wonder you're smiling so big right there. So, team, thank you for hanging in. So we have a few more, and any of you that were late coming in because you were leading a school, just know that we are recording and you'll be able to catch up later. So go ahead and exhale. It's okay. Glad that you're here now. So we will keep going. So Up next, we're going to hear from a couple of our directors from Equity in Learning. So we have a couple pieces there, and we're going to start with Suzanne, our Director of Little People, right, our ECE. So Suzanne, if you are on, go ahead and reveal yourself. This is so different, right? I'm used to people like running down the hallway over here and into the, into Rosa Parks to jump in, and so I'm like hoping and looking and texting to make sure that we can stay on point there. But we'll give her just a second there. And I did want to say that I heard the song that was playing at the beginning, and for whatever reason the audio wasn't coming through, was really all around just shining bright, right? Light shines bright everywhere you go, because I have heard, here she is, I have heard that you guys have just been so amazing and shining a bright light on your staff and on your kiddos, and just wanting to acknowledge that you're doing there. So that is a beautiful thing, and we're so proud of you guys. So, okay, so Suzanne, you are on deck, miss, and you may share the screen starting at your slide there, because I know you have a couple places to navigate us to, and just really proud of the work that Suzanne has been doing over the summer, of course, with the team, and making sure that our earliest learners are getting what they need as well in the way that makes sense the most for them. So welcome, Suzanne.
Thanks, Yolanda. Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. So very happy and delighted to get to be here with you and the chance to ensure an initial school year start and connection. I've always said to all the other directors how much fun a logistics meeting really is on a Friday afternoon, and grateful for just a few moments of your time. As you know, in early childhood in APS, we proudly support you to support your youngest learners in pre-K and K. Really ready for Monday. I hope you all are too. Been anxiously and actively watching our numbers. Enrollment looks great in Kindy. This isn't on the slide, but just a moment to say, please spread the word. We still have preschool openings. Lots of questions about virtual learning for our youngest, and we'll share a link to a story with you all that's been promoted on our website and such. But as the year's getting launched, I wanted to be sure that, as you are all familiar, and for those of you new, just a couple of you, know that in terms of navigating to the early childhood information, that you will go to curriculum and instruction. Whoops, open that tab to us in early childhood, and wanted to be sure and alert you to a couple of things, given that our Palooza was the last couple of days, and that with your teachers having gotten information about our main big Read Act update in front of us right now, kindergarten shifting to iReady for their diagnostic, that there is a chance for you to review, if you would like, or if you're new, jump to our logistical meeting that was late February. It is a recap as well for the shifts pertinent to you as leaders, given the shift with newcomer exemption, with the opportunity to think through the budgetary impact, which we know you guys are all well aware of in regard to the interventionist roles. And then in addition, the flow charts in terms of that newcomer exemption piece, that while we largely saw impact in Kindy as we anticipated, certainly still could apply to students older than kindergarten with that status. So wanted to just make you aware that is there. And then two other pertinent resources we typically get asked for at the beginning of the year. One, about new preschool students, how they enter what the process is, some of those pieces that could be a good reminder in terms of when they enroll and register, because they have to do our eligibility screening first. That's available to you in your school leader's playbook with this nicely laid out FAQ. In addition to that, we typically get questions about hiring. And I am really happy to say, actually, at this point, other than I think 5 paraeducator openings and 1 facilitator, we are hired. And so given that information to you all, I'm also aware that some questions have come our way related to the use of paraeducators from preschool during this time, starting in remote learning, and wanted to clarify for the system that our paraeducators will be utilized in the virtual learning launch to the year. They'll be used to support small group and asynchronous elements of instruction for our preschoolers. And when we do, and I really hope we do, make the shift soon to face-to-face or in-person learning, that those relationships and processes will have been established for our youngest learners with both the teacher and the para having had contact and regular instructional elements occurring together from the virtual environment. Yolanda, while I'm navigating back to the slide and thinking through a couple of other things with this content, are you monitoring the chat box, or should I be doing that as well?
I am.
Awesome. So as you guys have questions.
Oh, and Suzanne, sorry, you should hear this. Kim is saying that her staff was raving about the Palooza, so way to go.
Yay! I'm so glad, Kim, especially as Kim and I had been emailing a bit this summer and in the spring. Heard from a few kindergarten teachers yesterday, as an aside, about the content, especially related to the shift with iReady, as we move to that diagnostic window, which you guys know for Kindy is after the first 60 days of school, which is part of that PowerPoint I just showed you in the playbook as well. We will look to offer a refresher because we realize that, you know, it's August 20th and 21st, and we want to be sure that they feel spot on and ready to go, no matter whether we engage in that diagnostic virtually or in person. So as I've shared those couple of resources in the School Leaders Playbook, look to that for some other updates coming soon. Some of the guidance we anticipate to put there will be around deeply leaning into asynchronous learning for our youngest, given that we want to be mindful of screen time. We want to utilize the entire classroom span of time, so the full day, but again, being mindful of screen time, we really encouraged your teachers over the 2 days of the Palooza to think through ways they can add content to their Google Classrooms that would allow for some independent work, which they will be ready for, and support with families, as well as some additional small groups that will minimize overall whole group screen time for our youngest learners. So I mentioned at the start enrollment, and when your office staff or when your teachers or parents or even yourselves, if you're like, Suzanne, tell me more about virtual learning in preschool specifically, there's a story on our website, really partly in response to a request from our school board as well, about what it really looks like and what we're leaning into, so families feel comfortable. It is their child's first experience, You may be getting these questions about kindergarten as well, for our students that hadn't been in preschool with us last year. And in both instances, we want to be sure that we are leaning into those developmentally appropriate experiences, some of what I've already referenced with asynchronous time, as well as interactive lessons, right? We would not expect to see busy work or worksheets as a way to engage our youngest at the start of the year, of course. Meaningful content across academic, social, emotional, and developmental domains. And you guys know, and it's set up 100% to ensure that those first couple weeks are all about building relationships. Had some really cool ideas from you when we met last Monday about the primary years in general, your ideas about parent engagement plans or the opportunities to think that through. So awesome. Last point, wanting to share with you, as I've received quite a few questions, especially launching the school year virtually, I think, about our opportunity to, and I hope I didn't hook the wrong link, but it looks like I did, unless I went to the wrong thing. Nope, I did. Our memo that comes from the department and certainly just lives, if you will, about additional time over contract for our preschool lead teachers only. With Rich's help, we'll insert this into the playbook, and I'll get the right link in there for you guys. Basically, for those of you that have been with us for a while, you know that our preschool teachers, lead teachers, are classified staff, and given that, they work a 35-hour week. What this memo outlines is that while we cannot afford within our preschool budget a 40-hour work week for these folks, we can afford to, when necessary, offer 2 additional hours per week to support you with the requests that you might have about your preschool teachers dipping into after school hours with what would really be their after contract hours, because your teachers work an 8-hour day, to attend staff meetings or school functions, back to school night, parent teacher conferences. They don't get the same exchange days as our licensed teachers. We recognize that. We want to be supportive. We know it also often comes up around IEP meetings for our preschool lead teachers, and want to ensure that outside of the Friday no contact day, that they would have the opportunity to work with their staffing teams to ensure their presence at IEP meetings. They need your permission. You have all the leeway in the world, and we would love it if you just know that this 2 hours is in place. And if you have a regular staff meeting that is after their contracted hours, please utilize this time weekly. It helps them to feel a fully integrated part of processes that their regular work hours would not normally probably suffice for. So that's pretty much it from me. Were there any other questions or anything from the chat, Yolanda? Thinking that maybe radio silence means nothing else. And I'm going into it myself just so I can.
Suzanne, there's one question about preschool facilitators and where they add those 2 hours.
Thanks, Kathy. And I just opened that up as you were saying that. Yes, they just add them to their time card. I am the approver for that. Thanks for that question, because I would ask that you help them know, or your secretaries do, that they please put in the reason. Oftentimes we see, 2 hours and nothing for that justification line. When I see IEP meeting or I see literacy night, then I know to just hit approve. If not, I will reject the time card. And I typically respond, please fill out the rationale or the reason why this was requested. One more thing about that, if your teachers come to you, your preschool teachers, and say, you may not know of absolutely every IEP meeting being scheduled at the moment, right? As an example, if they come to you prior to you knowing that and say, it's going to be after school, you okay if I submit this extra hour? Know that we encourage them to have it be a two-way conversation, because we realize, especially with the pace of things now and the virtual element, we want to not only empower them to share what their needs might be, but also know that helps enforce that two-way conversation. So if Yolanda's back, that's all that there was for me. That's all I saw in chat.
Just making sure. Kathy, thanks for jumping in. Just having a little choking moment right there. So thank you.
I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, all is well, all is well. Thank you. Suzanne, thank you so much for jumping in to make sure that we are all apprised of everything related to our littles and ready for next week. So we appreciate you very much. And principals that that doesn't apply to directly, I appreciate you for hanging tough in there. Jason, your little one will be going to ECE soon, right? Another year maybe, I think. Yep. So that's exciting.
Awesome.
Very
And
exciting.
you guys, I did ask your teachers yesterday in our close to please include me in the opportunity to dip into any of the Google Classrooms next week, to get to see kids. Miss seeing kids. So a couple have reached out to me, and I'll be psyched to get to dip in. But I look forward to talking to you all soon and seeing you next Thursday at Lead and Learn.
Awesome. Thanks, Suzanne. And on that note, I personally want to own something and will work with my team and the different divisions to do a better job. But hey guys, when you are having some kind of event like the back to school events, or something where we are able to safely bring our families together and our students, and you want any of us there, and I'll speak for myself, but any of us, just let us know. Send an invite, put it on our calendar, and if we can be there and help, hands-on to support your events, please let us know. I know it's just one more thing for you to think about, but know that we want to be connected with the kiddos and the staff members as well. And it's definitely a little bit challenging, right, that we're not all of us are coming into your buildings just to help you maintain safety there. But if there's something that we can do and support, please don't hesitate to let us know around that. So, all right, keeping it moving. So I believe we have Miss Maya is up next to make sure that we are tight and right around iReady. There she is.
Hi guys. Yolanda, would you mind, are you okay presenting the slide? Thank you.
Gotcha.
All right, so just a quick little bit about iReady. I think you all are aware that the online lessons, yay, are available for everyone, K-8, math and reading, right? So both of those are available for all of our students. It is turned on now, and I've been kind of checking, and kiddos are getting in there and taking those lessons, so that's awesome. They did not have to take their diagnostic first. If you remember, the way those were assigned was if they were using the online lessons last year, it just picked them up where they left off. And if they had never used the online lessons, it just took them to grade level. And kinder students can get in there and use those online lessons as well. It will just it'll just start them at the beginning of kindergarten with those lessons. So that's available for everybody. So because we set it up that way, we absolutely have to have you contact us, your school assessment coordinator, contact Matthew Joy to let us know when you want to start diagnostics, right? Because we can't just turn them on, because then it will, everybody will stop getting lessons and they'll all get the diagnostics, right? So we're recommending that you hold off a little bit to start those diagnostics until September 1st, which would be not this coming week, but the week after, right? So that third week of school. We can turn them on for you starting on Tuesday, the 25th. You need to contact Matthew, and we can turn them on by grade level. Oops, oh, everything like all disappeared on my screen. My screen got all weird. So we can you guys all still see the slide, right? So yes, excellent. So we can turn them on by grade level. So for example, if on the 25th you're like, well, we want to go ahead and start with our 5th graders because we know that they're ready to start on that. You can let Matthew know we want to start 5th graders on the 25th, and we can do it by subject as well. So you're like, we just want to do reading on the 25th for 5th graders. We just want to do math for 4th graders starting whenever. So it's a little tighter this year than it has been before. I know we haven't had you give us that specific information. Matthew is sending emails to all of your assessment coordinators. If you have not identified your school assessment coordinator yet, please do that. Get with Matthew. I don't think he may have had a couple folks that hadn't done that yet. But so make sure that you have that, because that is primarily where that goes. And no, Lacey, you cannot assign a diagnostic yourself, not this time, because of the issues with the lessons. It actually has to be done. The iReady team has to do it at a higher level. We can't even do it, right? Because it will throw everything off. So it won't let you assign those diagnostics. So we have to get those scheduled. So check in with Matthew. I have a couple links in here for you. These are the videos that we had on, and if you click on it, you'll see, Yolanda, that it'll take you, you have to register to review the recording. Those are the trainings, the iReady training we did for admins on Monday. And the other one is iReady training for teachers. That's the training that Matthew did with the kindergarten teachers at the Palooza. I think it was yesterday or maybe it was Wednesday. So folks can view those. They do just have to register. You just have to have your name in there, and they just have to enter that in, and then they can go in and watch the recording. That way we can keep track of who is watching the recordings and give them credit for doing that. So, and we're gonna have a lot more trainings. We're gonna try to schedule some office hours and try to keep trainings on Fridays, because I know teachers are teaching and you guys are kind of busy that Monday through Thursday. Everything will be recorded. Everything will be available for folks to watch at a later time. We are also happy if you have some sort of specific time throughout the week or on Friday, if you want us to get with your teachers to get in front of them in a Zoom meeting, we're happy to do that as well. Just let us know, let me or Matthew know. So that's my quick iReady discussion. Are there any other questions? Looks like kids are in there using it, so. All right, are we good, Yolanda?
We are good, other than you also have homework. Where's your Bitmoji, Maya? Come on, I know you got a cute one.
I do not have a Bitmoji.
We're gonna work on that. All right.
All right, I'll work on that. I'll get one of those. All right.
Amy Colquist says you have to have one, so.
Okay.
There you go. No, thank you, Maya, so much for jumping in, making sure we are on top of that. Oh, go for it, Jojo.
Sorry, I was just going
Oh.
to ask, is there messaging to parents about not supporting students with the diagnostics so that we get actual accurate readings, accurate data for our kids? So if you have recommendations for our schools or if the district's supporting in some way for that.
So yeah, so there's a lot of resources that iReady has around how to prep parents for giving that assessment at home, how to prepare kids for having that at home. So your school assessment coordinators should be getting all that information from Matthew. And so there should be something in there for you to use. I'll check with him and make sure he's sent that, but I'm pretty sure I think we have a folder that all the assessment coordinators are getting. So yeah, we'll make sure that you have that. And I know some folks were asking about how long the window would be open. The thing about the window is that it's really more for reporting purposes, not necessarily for opening and closing. And especially because this first one, we need you to tell us when you want it for which grades and which subjects. I mean, I wouldn't want to be doing the first diagnostic in November, right? But especially, Suzanne talked about the kinder dates are a little bit later. If you need to stretch it into, the end of September, we can do that as well. But just let us know kind of what you're thinking and how things are going. And if we'll be kind of keeping an eye on things as well. So we're happy to work with you on that.
And then Kim is wondering about best practices for teachers as they're setting up kids.
That's also in those resources as well. Yeah, there's teacher resources and parent resources, and I believe the parent resources, I think they're in both English and Spanish. So if you need them in other languages, you might want to check with Efren and his team to see about getting some of those translated if you want to do that as well.
Great. Anything else from Maya team? And guys, and just on that, APs and instructional admin TOSAs, right? You're making sure that you are keeping up with those diagnostics as well, because I know many of you will be using it for your AP impact and influence projects. So make sure that you are supporting that process and aware as a part of your learning and development too. All right, Ms. Maya, thank you so much. Have a beautiful weekend. All right. So, and now someone who did do their homework, got to tease a team. Dave, are you joining us today? Are you here?
I am here. Hello, everyone.
You are.
Hi.
Nice Bitmoji.
Thank you. I've had it for a while. It goes through iterations, but the baldness always stays, and so does the beard. Nice to see everyone today. And I'm just here to do a quick reminder. This was actually already sent as a through memo, but this is a friendly reminder about the Keeping Students Safe and Signs of Suicide trainings. So I did link in, thank you. So this was the through memo, and the update that I just want to kind of, the friendly poke is the staff training should be happening by the end of this month. Followed by the parent training, which would be September 19th is the deadline for that. And then the student training can happen after the parent training up through November 13th. And that is actually listed in the tiny URL in high school and K-8 middle. Those are the breakdowns. So the staff, the parent, and then the student. And there's some additional information, just how we're shifting the Keeping Students Safe and Signs of Suicide training due to COVID. All of your mental health practitioners have received training on this at this point. That was my quick update. I tried to make it very fast, and if anyone has any questions, I'll happily answer anything I can. Going once, twice.
I don't know. You should look at Starla's comment there.
Oh no.
That's fun.
Maybe next time. Maybe next time.
That was a great way to keep us engaged when we're at the start of all the Zoom meetings, right? So that was good. Dave, thank you. Thank you
Absolutely.
for coming in today. We appreciate
Pleasure
it.
to be part of the team. All right, have a great weekend, everyone.
Oh, and Dave, I do have a question for you.
Oh, yeah.
What changes in your area do we need to make sure we know about, and like who to contact and that type of thing?
So we're kind of in a transition period. So for those of you who've been around for a while, Dina Jocelyn Custer had been the point of contact for Keeping Students Safe and Signs of Suicide training specifically. We're transitioning that to me beginning this year. And then from the College and Career Success team, myself and our lead graduation coach, who is, we're in the process of hiring that individual. We will lead the college and career success team. So what that means, I'll be working with the college and career center advisors, and our lead grad coach will be working with the grad coaches, and we'll share the DU interns that support our elementary and middle school space. So kind of a little shift in my world. I'm rolling with it. So if you need anything that you would have typically reached out to our director prior, feel free to get in touch with me in the meantime until we have our other lead grad coach hired. And so that way we'll tag team it.
Okay, thank you so much, David. And I believe that your page on the playbook has been updated with those contexts.
Perfect,
So
thank
that they
you.
can find it there, right? So that was a question. Dave's gonna go do some homework right now, y'all. And
I'm like, did I do that? I think I did.
I think it is, but we just want to make sure everything is
Certainly.
up to date as we continue to have new hires and such. So thank you again.
Absolutely, my pleasure, everyone.
All right, we are rolling along here. I love it. So I was worried. I'm gonna tell you guys a secret. So Jenny has an update for us here in a second. And instead of you know, we were going to shave some time from others, and she just went beyond 3 o'clock. She's probably not on yet, so I'm saying it. No, I'm kidding, but I was like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to talk fast. That's what we're going to do. So you guys still okay? Everybody all right? Can I get some high five, something, some breathing? All right. Okay, we're almost there, almost there. So I am super, super, super excited. I know you're here, Jenny. Hello. Glad you're here. I am so excited to share with you this kind of a one-pager. If it's like an 11 by 17 document that Jenny and I and other directors have been working on, just to make sure we are getting clear around our leadership development and the principal pipeline, and trying just to really help. You know, we get so many questions about lead and APS, and now we have AP and AP orientation with the principals that are serving as AP mentors, and we really thank them, and all these different points of entry to make sure that we are investing in you. And so be it currently sitting in the seat or aspiring leaders where you are along the trajectory. And so just wanting to make sure that we call this to your attention. It is in the newsletter that just hit your inbox, so you'll be able to see it more clearly. And it's also now on the school performance page on our main website, as well as the playbook. But just, you know, really quick little glance here. And actually, let me open this for you so that we can look at it more thoroughly, because it's a lot, and I'm just really excited about what we're able to offer in support of you all. So this is good stuff. Make it a little bit bigger. Hopefully you can see it, but like I say, you have access to this in the newsletter. So what you'll see is our offerings across, right? So principals, assistant principals, our admin TOSAs. And when we're saying TOSAs, because we also recognize that there are many categories of TOSAs in our district, we're talking about our instructional TOSAs, and then of course our deans, our teacher partners, and then our instructional consultants and coaches. And so just wanted you to see what those different offerings are by group, but really wanting to point out, if the mouse will be my friend, here we go, the cursor here. So I want to point out in the assistant principal lane, you'll notice what we have there. So that's kind of like for all, right? And then we have optional sessions. So this is something that we wanted to get crystal clear on, because we recognize that there's a little bit of confusion sometimes. And so with this, and hold on, JoJo, I got you. I see you all leaning in there. Let me help spare the eyes. I love being on Zoom instead of Adobe Connect. This is great. So, what we have, so APs, I remember those of you who were doing lead with us the last 2 years, we were telling you that there were going to be changes and we needed to narrow the focus and all of those things. And there were tiers and wailing and all kind of stuff was happening. And so we're like, okay, we have to figure out a way to continue to be able to support, you know, our deans and our TPs and our instructional coaches and coordinators. And so what the larger team, we decided we would do 3 pathways, and I just want to explain it. And then you'll find this in the newsletter, like I said. So we will maintain, so those of you who are in cohort 4 last year, and I'm Transformers, I think, we will be maintaining that foundational level of lead in APS, right? And so that's really that fire hydrant across all the quality standards for principals. You know, what a principal gets to do and all the decisions they get to make, and those, you know, prompt turnaround times and all of those things. And so we will maintain what we did last year in the foundations. We've expanded, so now there's a lead in APS, a deeper dive. Prerequisite is that you have to be someone that participated in the foundations over the last 2 years. So you would be able to apply to that one if you have interest in a communication more specifically about what they are, and it is also here below, is there for you. And then the last one as it relates to lead in APS is our next level readiness. And this one is for our folks who are internal folks who have made it into the principal pool. And like this year did not have a lot of openings, right? But we want to make sure that you are staying ready to lead when that time does come about, or that right fit school or what have you. And so you actually, if you fit that category, you've already received a personal invitation to apply to that if you're so interested there. And then of course, those of you who are gearing up to go through the principal pool this year, you can request a mock interview. And then we have the AP meet and greet for anyone who's interested in meeting leaders in the spring. That will have that opening for the following school year. So once you get the document and you have the time, you can just go through and see the purpose of the different development opportunities that we offer to our school leaders here, and then the main contact. And wherever you see leadership development team, I think most of you are figuring it out. Jenny and I pretty much do everything together, but some things she leads and I support, and vice versa. So emailing either one of us, you know, we're always going to make sure that you get what you need. And then we're so fortunate to have Laura Burke on our team this year. As opposed to, she has picked up the new AP orientation for all of our new folks to the district and giving them some direct support in support of you principals. So hopefully you are appreciating that. So just wanted to point that out to you so that you see what we're doing. And with that, Jenny is going to share with us what we have to look forward to next week.
Thank you. Yolanda, can you just share? Can you just do the next screen, or you want me to share?
I got you.
Thanks. Sorry, just because you had it up. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. We're so excited to see you next week at Lead and Learn. And I just wanted to do a quick overview and make sure that you guys understand what we're going to be doing and how things are set up, more the technical aspects of Lead and Learn. So we have kept the same purpose for Lead and Learn, which is that basically we're trying to create common understandings and common language and common practices that we implement across our district. So a slight change this year is who is invited to Lead and Learn. Principals, APs, admin TOSAs, deans are newly invited this year, and then teaching partners, and then our support team members. And I just wanted to give a quick overview of the deans. So we, as Yolanda was just talking about, we have this leadership pipeline here in APS, and we want to make sure that all of our leaders have access to the district level information that we're giving out and support that we are providing. So when we go into, in a minute, the agenda for next week, we want you to know that there's a mandatory session in the morning that deals with just that is mandatory for principals, APs, and teaching partners. Principals get to decide whether or not those sessions make sense for their deans and their admin TOSAs. So at this point, we want to make sure that people have access to that, but we also are recording all of these trainings. So if you have a part of your leadership team, a member of your leadership team who is not available or who you don't think can come to something because you need them accessible in another area at school, then that's totally fine. They can just look at the archived recordings of these sessions, and they can get the information that way. But we just wanted to make sure that we're inviting all of our team members who are in the leadership pipeline, and then those conversations can happen at the school level for both the deans and for the TOSAs. So the next thing I want to talk a little bit about is we have sessions from 11:30 to 3 p.m. that are all optional for your staff, which means you can choice into one or more of those sessions. There are multiple ones happening at one time, and so you'll have to make some choices. Again, those sessions will be archived. They'll be on the remote learning website as well as the principal playbook. So if you choose to go to one and there was also another one happening at the same time that you hoped to join or be a part of, that's okay. You can look at it later on or look at the resources and get the content that you need. So I want to talk a little bit about the invite. So currently, one of the things that we had some issues with, I think, during kickoff, and we wanted to make sure we addressed as we move forward, is we have the whole day session blocked on your calendars through the master calendar for Lead and Learn days. But I think it might be better, especially since we have all these choice sessions and people are making decisions about whether or not they're going to go to a session or whether they're going to do something at their school that's more important at this point in time, that they would be able to just accept invites. So this afternoon, after I talk to you, that big invite that takes up your whole day will actually disappear. And we'll be sending out the individual sessions for you to respond to and just determine which ones you're going to. So one of the things about this is I think you might want to open the agenda that is also in that first, oh, that's not good. Sorry, Yolanda. I don't know what happened there. You can open the agenda and you can see all the sessions that are being offered. Can you scroll down just a tiny bit, Yolanda? You'll be able to see all the sessions that are being offered, and then you'll be able to just accept the invites on your calendar to the sessions that you want to attend, and to the ones that you don't want to attend, you can just decline. This is one way so that our facilitators will be able to know how many people are coming and how many people to expect in each session. So if you'll notice up there in the blue box, you'll notice that there are 4 different sessions happening at similar times. Some of them happen at 11 and some start at 11:30, but they happen in that block of time. You'll also notice that it tells you the session time, it tells you who the audience for each session is, and it tells you, it gives you a link for you to be able to get into that session. So the links will be available both on the agenda and also in your invites in the calendar. And just want to make sure you're aware of that so that you know where to find that. And then Yolanda, can you go back to just the slide? Thanks. And just a couple other things before we let you guys go for the afternoon for Friday. Within each one of those items on the agenda and in the invite, you'll find all of the details and the outcomes for each one of your sessions. So you can look at those and determine if which session is right for you. Attendance for all these sessions will be recorded, we talked about, and they'll be archived. And the way that we're going to keep track of attendance for all of these classes, just because we're trying to differentiate so much, but then that also makes it very hard to keep track of who was in which class so that we can give you credit for. Each of the surveys for each one of these classes are going to be reduced to just 1 or 2 very quick questions. And we ask that everybody fill out the survey in order to show that you attended. And so that is a way for us to keep track of, and then Justin will make sure that all of your hours are updated for the attendance to those sessions. So we just wanted to have a way to, first of all, get your feedback, and second of all, to make sure that we knew you were in a session and give you the credit for those on your transcript. And with that, I think that that's all I have. Are there any questions for me before we turn it back over to Yolanda?
Nice Bitmoji right there, Jenny. I love it.
Thank you. You guys are killing it. I've heard from principals, I've heard from teaching partners, and I've heard from some APs. And so super excited for all of you guys to be starting this school year in this new, unique way.
Thanks, Jenny. So just a quick check for understanding right there, because, principals, when you create certain systems, they're not like a one-stop, just hit one button. I'm still working on the one button, but that one button and then everything is all great, or one person that manages it all. It is not that way at all with Performance Matters, and the way that we are trying to be responsive to your differentiation and option feedback. And so if you don't do that survey, right, the attendance won't be there, and the number of people and systems that we have to talk to and all those different things to make sure that you get that credit if you were there and it's already closed, like it's a really big deal. So who can tell me in the chat what you need to do to get credit in Performance Matters after attending a class? Yes.
Thank you,
All right,
TJ.
Castellano, I
Thank you,
see
guys.
you. CJ, yes.
And,
I love it.
and if any of your team members aren't, oh, sorry. And if any of your team members aren't here, and can you make sure that you make them aware of this as well? We will also make sure that it is stated at each of the sessions, and we'll make sure that everybody knows, but just want to reiterate so that until we get used to this, that is a way that Justin will be able to know if you were in the class.
Okay, Jenny, thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Happy weekend.
This is good. So Mayorvi, come on up. I see the time, but this is worth it here. Just special thanks to all of our presenters today. And you know, I've been thinking about you all the time. And I'm like, man, can anything else? I don't even want to say it, but 2020 needs to get under control. Who could handle it, right? And I'm thinking, okay, Joe Clark can do it. And then I'm like, no. We have all the right people right here that are able to do this. So after my conversation the other day with Mayorvi, I said, hey, can you share? He kept talking about blunders to golden moments. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you have to share that on Friday. And he's like, of course. And I got all excited. And so that's why I was like trying to rush because I wanted. So is Mayorvi on? I wonder if something.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Yay. So Mayorvi, what does that mean?
Man, you give me too much credit. So let me give you a little background. You know how we had to pivot so quickly, recreate new schedules for online versus what we were doing for cohort. And even when you ask other people to look at your master schedules, because there's so much information, there's always something that it seems right, but when you then start digging into it, you're like, uh-oh, I then messed up. And so at my school, we departmentalize. And so I put a writing block for the first half of the literacy, but when they switch classes, they don't have a writing block in literacy. And there's no more time. So what we've been doing is trying to rethink a mistake and how do I make that a golden opportunity. And one of the charges that I have this year at our school is about really bringing equity and social justice into the hands of our students. And so what we're doing is reimagining what that writing block looks like across the grade levels, where we're putting relevant topics that kids are hearing about with their parents and providing a voice for them through their writing. And so we're doing some research right now on how we're going to get that done. And that's where that blunder to a golden moment came, because that's the only way that we move forward. It's taking that flexibility and finding that blunder, and instead of throwing our arms and be like, oh, what the hell am I going to do? Excuse the language, to saying, yep, let's make this the best that we can. And so that was my moment I was sharing and using Yolanda for a soundboard to let her know like how I'm trying to show the flexibility, show that learning mentality to our staff, and working together to get this done. So that was my little moment.
Yeah, thank you. And I just, thought about, man, how many blunders are all of us making in this time? And when he called it a golden moment or golden opportunity, I was like, yes, we need to have more of these leadership sparks. So guys, not only am I that one that takes your picture when you don't know I'm taking picture, I'm listening to things that you're saying and trying to do a better job this year. I really want to lean in on doing a better job of connecting you all. So that, again, you're not feeling so lonely and you have other people that are, focused on similar things that you can have additional sounding boards for. So Mayorvi, thank you so much for jumping in right there. And just the last thing, guys, like it is the weekend, right? Don't be like me and continue to send emails and do all those things. Make sure you take it. I saw that, Amy, but come on, let's go to Castlewood Canyon and let's go walk the dogs. We got to do something. So just in the chat really quick, what are you going to do this weekend to replenish? Because you get to do it.
Yolanda,
is
I
the-
want to know what you're going to do this weekend because you got to model what you see, what you want to see. Come on, what does that say behind you?
I know. So, Kelsey, you'll be proud of me. The husband and I have been finding new lakes in our state, and we've been going and doing little hiking trails. And the last one we went to was Blue Lake in Roosevelt National Forest up by Boulder. If you guys haven't been there, it's amazing. And also we're doing Airbnb online experiences. If you guys have not checked that out yet, it's great. We had a date night magic show. The magician was in Singapore, and there were people from around the world on the Zoom with this magic show, and it was great. So I highly recommend that you do that. Definitely want to give a shout out to Sylvia today, who's been helping us with the links and monitoring and texting me when stuff's not quite right. So thank you, Sylvia, for helping. And guys, just remember, you do have a model for this, Kelsey. Mr. Rogers is one of the greatest teachers, and he did it all virtually back in 1902. No, I'm just kidding, with his cardigan on. So you guys got this. You can totally do it. We're here for you, as you well know, and have a beautiful weekend. Thank you for the few extra moments. Love you guys. Bye.